Welcome to Its Four Sides of Leadership. I am Coach Colin and I'm here to help you master your leadership. Its Four Sides of Leadership is a library of selected models and methods that I have researched when I was writing my book, Speaking the Language of Leadership. Because in this book, Speaking the Language of Leadership, I documented the story how a group of good managers became great leaders, and I asked myself, how can it be and how can we reproduce this type of result, and what did they really learn and which impact did these types of methods and tools have on their leadership? And I found some amazing results. And these results I put together on one side in Speaking the Language of Leadership, a book which you can buy on Amazon or you can listen to on Audible so that you can go on your same journey. In addition, what I also did, I created a model around this success so that you can have something very structured and very tangible so that you can repeat this type of success for yourself. And I call this Its Four Sides of Leadership. And just to give you an overview of its four sides of leadership, this is what it looks like. Its four sides of leadership is four different areas where you would like to excel as a leader. Because when you master these four sides, you will suddenly realize that you have a much greater impact on the performance, on the effectiveness, and on the progress in your team. So let me ask you this, where are you within the progress and the performance and the effectiveness on your team? Perhaps you're over here. Perhaps you're a young project manager and you're very good at the technology of the project that you're working with. But maybe you notice perhaps you would want a little more engagement with the people in your project. Perhaps you're a manager of a department and you are into a couple of years of managing your team and you have the impression that to be able to reach your next level, you would want to increase the performance and the results in your team. Or perhaps you're a senior manager and you've got a couple of young team leaders reporting to you and you are challenged in really delivering the results that your division has to deliver. But where would you like to be? Wouldn't you like to be over here? Because over here, this is where the leader can create this enthusiasm around the goals that a team needs to create and deliver on. Over here, just imagine what it would be like if you could drive the decisions and agree on the priorities with your team so that you can have immediate action around the things that need to get done. What would it be like if at the end of the month you could look at the report and you could be proud of the past achievements that your team has been delivering? Do you see that there is difference where you might be today and where you could be? This is exactly what I documented in the journey of this group of managers and how they became great leaders, because they understood that between those two sides is a difference. And the difference is their leadership. Now, it's not specifically that the difference is made by the leader in sense of their personality or their character or their attitude of these types of things. No, it is made by how the conversations work. It is made by how they drive the meetings. It is done by what they focus on as a leader. That's what makes the difference. And that's what makes its four sides of leadership so teachable and coachable, because you're already a good leader. You have the right attitudes, you have the right character, and you have the courage of being the leader. And that is why you have that role. But sometimes you need to hone and polish the way you interact with your team. And this is what its four sides of leadership is about. The leader's success compass, which is the resulting model of this, gives you as a leader the orientation to turn into the right direction depending on what your team needs from you. And this way you can increase effectiveness. This means that I have created different groups of principles so that you can learn this 4 sides of leadership so that you can use the leader's success compass in your daily life. So it starts with the north, right? That is where you get the orientation. That is giving you the idea where you need to go, because in the north, that is where you communicate the common goals with your team. That's where you create that agreement with your team about what is important and why that is so important to you. And to be able to achieve that, I've created the principle of the True North Navigator. And with this True North Navigator, you will have all the models and the methods to have that dialogue on eye level where you can appreciate the ideas and respect the experience from the team and really have a truthful and meaningful communication around the future goals. Then when you've had that agreement, then you would want to turn east, and that's where you want to start with your team to reach those goals. And in the east, it is all about deciding on the present priorities, because many times in this discussion here, when you want to get started, there are conflicting priorities, there are disagreements how things should be invested in, where time should be spent, who should use which type of competence and which part of the organization. So that is why, as a leader, if you want to be really effective in leading your team, you would want to be sure that you use the global strategy enabler, because in the global strategy enabler you have all those elements and tools that allows you, together with your team, decide on the present priority. Now, many times when you have those two things in place, you expect that things are going to happen, right? And that is in fact where things can go south. And when things go south, it is actually when the actions that you would like to have, they actually don't appear and you don't see any progress. And this happens because though your team might know what they should be doing and why it is important, they're still hesitating. They're hesitating because of their own experience. They're hesitating because they're unsure. They're hesitating because not knowing what their next step is going to be. And that is where you as a leader can step in. That is where you would want to coach your team to act in line with the goals and the priorities. But the challenge in doing that is that those actions, they very much depend on the motivation of the individual. So the most important thing that you would want to know is, well, what level of motivation is my team in? Where does the motivation of the individual get stuck? That is why I have created the principle of the motivational map scanner, because with this motivational map scanner, you have all the tools to analyze at what level of motivation your team is and the individuals and what they need from you to move forward and start acting in line with the priorities that you have decided together. Because only when they start acting in line with the priorities, that's when you can turn west and look at the sunset and have the feeling of achievement, of progress, of results, and of impact. That is where you can feel proud of your team. That is why that is where you want to follow up on the past achievements and on the past results. That is where you need the principle of the progress and impact tracker. Because with that progress and impact tracker, you can have those elements in place so that everybody in your team feels that you actually saw the effort that they put in. You actually appreciate and recognize the progress that they have made, and you can reflect around the impact that it has made on the journey in reaching the results. So what I'm going to do for you now, for the readers of my book, Speaking the Language of Leadership, is that I'm going to offer for everybody who buys this book, who listens to the book on Audible, I'm going to give them access to numerous tools and models so that they can start their own journey. And you personally, you can start your own journey in being a more effective leader. This means that behind the True North Navigator, there are numerous elements and tools that I'm going to share with you in special short videos, like 15, 20 minutes videos, so that you can start learning these elements. Behind the global strategy enabler, there will be tools and methods so that you can have that conversation one by one with your team, and you can drive those decisions together so that you can be clear about the priorities that your team needs to move forward. And the same thing is going to happen on the motivational map scanner. There are numerous elements and tools that I'm going to share with you in short training videos when you buy the book and when you sign up to get access to these free videos. Yes, you've heard right. They're all free. There is no expectation on you. There is no commitment from your side that is required. They're totally free. And even on the progress and impact tracker, there are a number of tools that you would want to learn and master so that you can be more effective in leading your team to success. Because with these 4 areas, would you agree with me that if you became better at communicating the future goals, if you became better at deciding on the present priority, if you became better at coaching your teams to act, and if you became better at following up on your team's progress and impact, wouldn't that have a huge impact on the effectiveness in your team? That is what we discovered when we researched around speaking the language of leadership and the journey. Because these managers here, which were good managers at the beginning, the difference, what made them to be really great leaders, was that they started to excel in these 4 areas, in its 4 sides of leadership. They became better in these 4 areas. And when they became better, of course, their team became more effective. And what is really different here in this type of training versus other trainings is that we're not going to talk about leadership attitude or character traits or personalities. These are hard tools, hard methods that you can use directly tomorrow in your way of leading your team. They give you the direct orientation, what you need to improve as a next step so that you get this leader success compass working for yourself. Now, with all this amazing stuff, maybe you're asking yourself, but wait a second, Colin, if this is so amazing, isn't there a catch? Well, let me share this with you. I believe that leadership is really important nowadays. It is important because we spend so much time at work in collaboration with our peers and in cooperation with our leaders. And it doesn't really matter at what level in the organization you are. You always have a leader. And maybe you notice that some of the leaders, they have an influence on you and you don't really have all that fun and you can't really bring in all your experience and you feel like you're held back. Just imagine what would happen if in all the organizations we could turn this around and we could really have more fun at work. Every employee would have the feeling that they are part of greater goals and it would be fun to contribute, and they understand the priorities and they know how they can contribute and they know how for themselves they could be successful, and they have a leader who actually appreciates their progress and recognizes the effort, and they could have so much more fun at work. And this is so extremely urgent because there are so many cases around burnt out, about frustrating organization, people leaving quickly and jumping onto the next position, hoping that they will have more meaning in their at work and in the role that they're having. And if you could change that as a leader, we could all have more fun. And that is why I believe that it's 4 sides of leadership. They're sort of the basic competencies, the basic skills that every leader should have. That's why I want to make sure that you have them. That is why I want to make sure when you read my book, you get access to these methods and tools which are proven. They are not, they're taken out of psychological theory, they are known elements, they're proven out, they're documented in this book so that you can see what impact they have. And I'm giving those away free of charge because I believe if we have better leaders around, it's going to be so much fun for everybody. And that is my ambition. Let's change and bring and improve leadership to a level that everybody would say that it's really fun to be a leader. And it's really fun to work for a leader. And if we all have more fun, that's in a world which I would like to be in. Because I'm Coach Colin, and I'm here to help you master your leadership so that you can have a team that likes working with you, so that you can be more effective with your team, so that you can really be the master of your leadership. All you have to do is buy the book Speaking the Language of Leadership, buy it on Amazon or listen to it over Audible, and you will find a way how you can access to all these tools and methods so that you can have your own leader's success compass going for you.